Hi everyone, Chris here. I live on this lovely boat with my cat, Apollo. Hi. And my son, who likes to stay off the internet, so we will not share photos of him as much as we can. But where are we? In the summers, we find ourselves in this truly magical harbor, where we spend on a mooring ball, so we're nice and safe. We're early this year, but some of you may have noticed, hey, look at that. That's the Pilgrim Monument. So those who know. We are in Provincetown Harbor at the very, very tip of Cape Cod. And we get to spend all summer here on a nice private mooring. And we come here for a number of reasons. Probably the biggest reason was when my son came out as gay, I went to Google and typed in what is the safest place for a gay man to live? Provincetown, Mass. What is the gayest place on earth? Provincetown, Mass. So we started spending our summers here that summer. We used to anchor out over in that direction. The key for finding a place to anchor is looking for that mooring that doesn't look like the others. We nicknamed it the super mooring, and then we'd go just a little bit more that way, and we'd anchor in that spot over there, as close to the mooring field as we could. And we did that for a few years until we found out just how relatively inexpensive it was to get a private mooring here and have it taken care of. So now we do that. We've been living on the boat this is our 5th year. And funny enough, Apollo just turned 5 years old. He was 6 months old when he moved on the boat. The children were 20 and 16 at the time, so they're a little bit older now too. And my oldest moved off the boat this winter. I was able to wrap up raising my children on a cruising sailboat where we roam from Maine, Casco Bay, Maine, down to Florida each year, with a heavy summer presence in Provincetown. This year, my youngest is working on one of the yachts in town, which will be nice, and I will be spending as much time as I can in the area cafes, doing my job, which is working as a university professor. For those who are thinking about how wonderful it would be to roam, you can see kind of up there. Oh, there she is. You can almost see her in the background. We use Starlink to get our internet and have a massive solar array. We've got a few projects this summer. The first one is we are going to install a 3,000 watt inverter, which will allow us to convert our galley from propane to electric. And that's what we're doing with that power. We're going to be able to heat our water with the electric hot water heater instead of needing to use the diesel engine to heat our hot water, so we can have hot showers without burning diesel. I'm so excited for that. And then what else do we have for projects? Underneath this hatch right here is our chain locker, which is where our chain goes, and the motor that picks up our anchor, which is called a windlass. I would open it, but it is an embarrassing mess. That was my fault. And it's so embarrassing, I don't want anyone to see it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tear all that out, and then we're going to fiberglass most of that over so we can lift the windlass, that motor that raises and lowers the anchor, right on top, and make it nice and safe. And then, so that's our second project. Our third project, oh heavens. This lovely bit of canvas and steel is called a dodger. Helps you dodge the waves that crash over the bow. And I don't know if you could tell, but the plastic windows are kind of impossible to see through, except where they're smashed out and broken. So, project 3 for the summer is going to be taking this down, breaking out the sewing machine and sewing in new plastic so that can actually offer the protection we need when we leave Provincetown this fall and head south for warmer weather in the winter. And then, of course, there's a bazillion little projects, mounting things, and I don't think you can see, but there's like antenna wires that are hanging down and not going anywhere. We need to reroute those. And then we have others that are just going in the wrong places. And so we're going to reroute those things and just lots of little things. And then I think probably the most fun project I have, says the professor who can't speak English, is the herb garden. This is my 4th consecutive summer starting an herb garden. And of course that happens because I have killed every herb garden before this one. Last year, we discovered that what I needed was a little help from a solar-powered irrigation system. And that helps because when the water runs down in its water reservoir, it beeps. And then I remember to fill it. So the reasons we've killed the herb garden have been cold, lack of water, and cold. So hopefully we go south soon, earlier in the season this year. Anyway, so I used to have a different account on TikTok, but sadly, when you forget to turn on two-factor authentication, sometimes ne'er-do-wells will steal your account and then delete all your videos and use the account to post nonsense and try to sell things. So this account has two-factor authentication turned on, and I'm going to use it to share the day-and-day boring stuff about living on a sailboat. Because who hasn't dreamed of saying, forget the world, and running away on a sailboat? And I just wanted to say that if you are thinking about that, you should absolutely do it. Moving onto the sailboat has been the single best thing I ever did for myself. And I don't share the sailing adventures or like how great it is on the open sea. And I don't actually talk a lot about sailing. It's more like the living parts. So if I had been more ready this morning and more accepting that I was going to start this new account, I would have shared what it was like to crawl underneath my bathroom cupboard and install a new pump for sucking the water out of the bottom of my shower and pumping it overboard, which was horrible. It was supposed to be a half-hour project. It took 6 hours, extended to the next day, and then it took 3 more hours to install the easiest, simplest of pumps. But there's always something on a boat. And we have the benefit of being in a great spot for the summer. And so I'll share what Provincetown is like, what it's like to live on a boat in Provincetown Harbor. And then come fall, when we head south for the winter, I'll share the cool stuff about the towns we stop in and what it's like to move down and how we save money in the different places that we go. Anyway, here we are. Chris, Apollo, and my son Liam. Sadly, my older son has left, so he won't be joining us, but let's go on an adventure together. Yeah. Anyway, hope everyone is having a great day, and I will chat with you soon. Bye.